In any normally functioning government, you'd expect heads to be rolling and serious questions to be asked of security officials about how this came to happen. Instead, Putin has focused his comments so far in attempting to point the finger at Ukraine and cast what happened in Moscow on Friday night as somehow linked to Ukraine and the war that Russia is conducting there. He hasn't made any mention of Islamic State, even though Islamic State have publicly declared that they are the ones responsible. They've published videos showing elements of the attack taking place, and US authorities themselves have also said that Islamic State is solely responsible. So there's a clear divergence here in the messaging from the Kremlin, and so far we haven't seen a change in that messaging, even though 4 men have been detained in custody and are from Tajikistan and don't, on the face of it, appear to have any connections to Ukraine.
Is it your assessment, Tony, that this is a Kremlin that's taken its eye off the ball of the ISIS threat to Russia? And if so, is there a risk to Putin and his government on the back of this?
Well, the US did say that it did issue a warning earlier this month and did say that it passed on details of what it knew to Russian authorities. And Putin very publicly dismissed that in a meeting with FSB officials a few days before the attack. It doesn't signify, I think, in any way that Putin's leadership is under threat. He has a very firm grip on power. The Kremlin's just engineered another 6 years for him at last week's presidential election. But it does, I think, feed into a degree of cynicism among Muscovites in particular, that the Russian state really wasn't paying attention to the threat because it was focused on things like repressing internal dissent and prosecuting the war in Ukraine. And for Muscovites, this is a really sober moment because they haven't seen anything on this scale since 2002. And there's been no real large-scale terrorist attack in Moscow since 2010. So it's bringing back some very dark memories for Russians. And so far, at least, they don't yet have answers from the Kremlin.